What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a DMX controller to your battery Par 50 Par wash lights. Now another way we can control our lights is with a DMX controller. To set that up, I'm going to need some DMX cables here. I'm going to take the male end and plug it into the DMX out of my controller. Then I'm going to plug the other end into this port here, which is the DMX in for the light. Now the next thing we'll want to do is connect our first light to the second light here. So to do that, I'm going to take another DMX cable, plug the male end into the port on the other side of the light, which is the DMX out port. Then I'm going to take the other end and plug it into the DMX in on our light, which again is this port right here. Now I'm only using 2 lights for our setup today, but if you wanted to set up more lights, you're just going to follow the steps that we used to connect our first light to our second light and do that all the way down your chain. Now the next thing we can do is set the DMX channel mode on our lights, and this is going to determine how much control we have over our lights with our DMX controller. So this all just depends on how much control we want to have. If we only want to control the red, green, and blue LEDs, we can set our light to the 3-channel DMX mode, or if we want to be more advanced, we can set them to the 6-channel DMX mode. So on our light, if we want to set it to the 3-channel DMX mode, we're going to set our light to the A setting here. And if we want to go for 6-channel mode, we're just going to press the mode button again for the D setting. For today's demo, we're going to use the 6-channel DMX mode. So now the next thing we'll want to do is set the DMX address, and for today we'll set it to 001. So now I can go ahead and turn my controller on, activate scanner 1 here on my controller, and now we can go through each fader and see what they do to our lights. So starting with fader 1, this acts as our master dimmer, or how bright we want our lights to be. So for today, let's just set that all the way up. And next we have fader 2 to bring in the red LEDs. So if I raise that a bit, you'll start to see the red coming through. Next we have fader 3 that will bring out the green LEDs, and fader 4 to bring out the blue LEDs. Now we can use all 3 of these faders to set our custom color. So I can raise a little bit of red, a lot of green, and a bit of blue, and now we have the custom color for our lights. Now fader 5 allows us to set our lights to any of the preset modes, and depending on the value or how high we set the fader determines which mode we have our light set to. So what I mean by that is as we raise fader 5, you'll see these numbers come up here, so that's the value that we're setting the fader to. And for example, I'm going to set it anywhere between 51 to 100 to set it to the color change mode. You can always refer to the DMX guide in your manual to see which values activate which mode. So once we have our light set to a mode, we can go to the next fader, which is fader 6, to control the speed of the mode. So the more I raise it in the color change mode, the faster the colors will change. Now if you have a wireless DMX controller, you can get these DMX WRE wireless receivers and plug them into your lights so that you have a wireless connection between your controller and your lights. So how it works on our controller is we can go right here where it says wireless and flip that switch on, and this will turn our controller to the wireless DMX mode. Next to that, you'll see this LED and this button underneath that will allow us to switch the wireless DMX signal. Now the wireless DMX signals are color coded, which is important because you want them to match between your controller and your receivers in order for the connection to be made. So with this button, I can switch between the wireless DMX signals and I can pick any color. So for today, let's set it to blue. Then we're going to want to do the same thing on our receivers, but to do that we might need a tiny screwdriver in order to press the button. So I'm going to use it to turn it on. And then I'm going to use this button here on the side to switch the signal. So again, we'll want to switch it to blue to match with our controller. So when we match the colors on our receivers to our controller, you'll see that it now flashes red on the controller and green on the receivers, letting us know that they're all connected. So now we can take our receivers and plug them into our lights. Next, we're going to want to make sure to set our lights to the same DMX mode and DMX address. Again, we'll use D001 for the 6-channel mode. So now if I raise my faders, you'll see that it starts to interact with our lights. And again, it's completely wireless for a nice, easy setup. And the cool thing is you don't need a receiver for each of your lights in order for it to be wireless. You can take just one of these receivers and plug it into your first light, then connect your first light to the rest of your lights in your chain with DMX cables and have the same effect. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your DMX controller to your battery Par 50 lights. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.